Hey, welcome back. Thanks again for joining us. We're here in Democracy 3, and we're about 1 year into government. And in my opinion, things are on the up and up. As you can see, our capitalists still hate us, but that's fine. And middle income don't like us very much either. Everyone else, however, is at least okay. So we're going to progress from where we left off last time. And here we go, GDP is down. Why is GDP down? What did I introduce? Science funding, new car subsidies. GDP should be up, but it's still falling. Poverty, however, is also rising, and that has been caused by our attack, frankly, on state pensions, but it has freed up money elsewhere. Vigilante mobs, the situation is at an end, and there's no longer vigilante mobs on our streets, and people are trusting the authorities to enforce law and order again. So I'm pretty happy with that. Credit rating, however, this possibly explains the GDP. Major international credit rating agencies have downgraded the status of the government debt. This is likely to have a knock-on effect on GDP as foreign companies become wary of investing in our economy. It will also result in increased interest rate to pay and our debt rising, and there's a good chance that upset the capitalist voters as well. We also take action to regain credibility with the ratings agencies by reducing the level of debt as soon as possible. The current credit rating is now A, and that's obviously caused issues with the capitalists who don't like us in the first place. The global economy is in a recession, which also explains the fall of the GDP, and it's having a negative effect. The budget has a small surplus of 9.31 billion. The polls are indifferent. However, they have risen sharply, and it's now at 51%, which means we will win the next election if we carry on like this. Human Rights Society is still against us. The cabinet ministers are loyal, and today's quote comes from Niccolo Machiavelli: "It's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." So I see capitalists down, they are really not liking us. So we're going to have to do something to remedy that situation, and I believe that the best way to deal with that would be through maybe pollution controls. Maybe just, well, if we're not spending a great deal on it, and we could lower it, we would spend less. Environmentalists wouldn't like us, but it'd bring the capitalists back on side. So yeah, minimum monitoring. That seems like the way to go, and to try and swing the capitalist vote back towards us. Middle income don't like us either, and that's caused by income tax and inheritance tax. What is inheritance? 23%. Bringing in 3.7 billion. We could probably reduce that a little bit without having a massive effect. We could probably bring that down to say 12%, which is still bringing 3 billion in terms of taxes. So I think that's a good change to make there as well. So we still need to focus a little bit on organised crime. And we still have this asthma epidemic, the uncompetitive economy, technological backwater. In spite of the science funding, maybe have to look at creationism versus evolution. We can't change it at the moment, but that may be where we need to go next. And obviously homelessness is still a problem as well. So let's carry on, and we will have a look, see where we end up. So the GDP is still falling. Everything else is as it was, but we've got an oil pipeline attacked. I've just heard that there's been an attack on an oil pipeline in a neighbouring country, apparently by a rebel faction, and the oil supplies to our country may be under threat. Other nations look like they'll be stockpiling oil as a result to insulate themselves against the effects of repeat attacks. And as a result, the supply of oil to us has fallen, and it may take a while to recover. So the economic forecast of the global economy is in a recession, and this is having a negative effect on our GDP. The budget suggests that we have a minor budget deficit around 3.07 million, but this is not a cause for major concern, which is good. Polls are indifferent, 50%. We're still pretty much on target for where I want us to be, so that's fine, that's good. Security brief from the Human Rights Society doesn't like us. We knew that already. That's not a massive problem. Cabinet loyalty is supportive, so we may be looking at a possible cabinet reshuffle in the not too distant future just to bring them back on side. Let's have a look at the security briefings though. And thankfully nobody that wants to attack us is too aggravated, so I'm okay with that. The membership of the Human Rights Society is going down, everything else seems fine. So overall I am pretty happy. Today's quote comes from John F. Kennedy, who says, "I don't think the intelligence reports are all that hot. Some days I get more out of the New York Times." So, Patriot is down, everything else is so-so. Let's see what we can do. Now, we need to try and kickstart the economy, because overall this is not really working for us. So let's have a look. First of all at new car subsidies are there. Let's go into the policy ideas, and let's just have a little look at what we can try and do to stimulate the economy here. So small business grants, failure rate for small businesses is very high in the early years of trading. A preferential government grant can be an enormous help get a new enterprise off the ground, and this can lead to a big boost to the economy. It can be an expensive policy with no guarantee of good results, but it could potentially bring yield a good result in the long term. So let's whack this up. Let's put £5 billion into this program. Let's put it into this program. Massive help to the self-employed, good effect on the GDP. Capitalists like it as well. Socialism down, but pretty much everyone else. Trade unions not ideal, but that's fine. We'll worry about them later. Also very popular with the voters. So I'm happy with that. That should hopefully try to kickstart the economy that we need. What else have we got in here? Tax shelters might not be popular with the voters, but by not fully taxing the wealth of the super rich, tax shelters can be a great way to encourage successful entrepreneurs to make our country their home. With an ever-shrinking world, the rich are free to settle wherever they please. Encourage them to live here may mean that they spend their wealth in this country. Such measures can be very unpopular with the poor, who resent paying tax on their much lower earnings. However, I think if we take a look at this, you see the wealthy like it, socialists and equality go down a bit, but the capitalists, high earnings, the GDP goes up, and also if I do that, it should reduce us being a technological backward. So let's put well, we can't put 2 billion, but let's put 1.9 billion into reducing the tax, making a tax shelter for the super rich, to try and bring them into this country, spending their money here and kickstarting the economy as well. So let's carry on and see how that leaves us after we've done this. Now, unfortunately, our credit rating has once again been downgraded, and it's now B3, and this obviously is having a negative effect with the capitalist voters and with the GDP. So, what are we going to do about it? Again, crime is on the rise. Street gangs have started, and we need to do something about this, and it needs to be fairly urgent, because I am not a fan of having street gangs roaming on our streets. So we'll do something about that. Economic forecast: the economy is still in a recession. Credit rating is worrying. The poll reports do not look good. The last poll put it at 19%. However, we're only in year 2. It's 4 years until that, so that's fine. Anyway, let's have a look at the street gangs and see what we can do here. CCTV cameras, community policing, and the police force in general. So we need to try and put money into these. I need to have a look at the budget. Today's quote: Henry Kissinger, former head of the FBI. Too bad 90% of the politicians give the other 10% a bad reputation. How true that is. So budget expenditure vastly outweighs income. This is a big problem. Big problem. Street gangs, obviously huge issue. Let's have a look at community policing. We need to invest heavily in community policing, up to the maximum that we can, and this should help hopefully bring that issue under control. Other things we can invest in the police force itself. If you put now 10 billion, that's a £3 billion increase to the police force. And then we're almost halfway through. This isn't looking good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at our cabinet ministers. As you can see, foreign policy minister, he's yes, he's not really pulling his weight. 1.7 political capital is not really helping us. Again, 2 over here, 2.8 here, 1.6 for our public services minister. So I think we need to have a little cabinet reshuffle here. So let's have a look at our foreign affairs minister, and we'll see who we can bring in. Obviously, we want somebody with high loyalty, and obviously bring in a lot of political capital for us as well. So we got 4.3 here. Maureen Brown, desired jobs, foreign policy, loyalty is high, and I say 4.3 political capital. That is perfect for you. Next up, welfare. So let's have a look for people with welfare experience here. Peggy Collins, 2.8. That's not really what we were looking for. We got 4.7 here, Charlotte Jenkins, but welfare is not our primary concern. See if I have anyone who's no. I think it will be Charlotte Jenkins, 4.7 political capital. That looks great. Sympathies to the youthful as well, so that's good there. Next up is the Minister for Industry, to try and kickstart our economy. This is a very important role, and one that I really need someone supportive here. So 3.8 is good. And we've got 2.3. Is anyone able to touch the 3.8? I don't think so. No. So we're going for Adam Anderson, 3.8 as the Minister for Economy. Sympathies towards the retired and the Conservatives, which is good. Again, now the Chancellor of the Exchequer. Chancellor. So, tax. Tax. Massively important, obviously. We're going to be in the threes, I believe. 3.8, Elaine Kelly, looking good in terms of tax. 3.9, though, Gladys Perez, beautiful British name, obviously. But she looks like she's going to be our Chancellor of the Exchequer. This is a very female-orientated cabinet so far, with just over half the appointments made. 3 women and just 1 male. So the Public Services Minister is next. We've got 3.8 here, Alison Butler, Public Services. That looks good. 3.2, 3.7. But yes, more females in the cabinet. It looks like Alison Butler. Good lightweight trade unions and commuter, so that's good. Sympathies for them. Can hopefully bring them back on side. Minister for Law and Order. 2.6 is not good enough. 3.4 is a good start. Joyce Morris. 3.6 though, Roland Martin. Looks like he will be in the driving seat. Elaine Kelly is not interested in that particular job. 3.7, no, I think we have a winner here. 3.6, Roland Martin, sympathies towards religion and trade union. Good. And our Transport Minister. Transport 3.4, Joyce Morris again, looks healthy so far. Transport Elaine Kelly, 3.8. I don't think anyone's going to beat 3.8 for Elaine Kelly. Welcome on board, Ms. Kelly. So the new cabinet is complete. Very, well, it's not that unbalanced. 1, 2, 3, for 5 women, 2 guys. It was a little unbalanced, but if you include me as the Prime Minister, it balances up a little more. And that has been the cabinet reshuffle. So let's move on to the next quarter and see what we've got here. Unemployment is going up, crime is going up, health is going down. The country is definitely appearing to be in the toilet. We're going to have to do some serious work here, and a policy question about bankers' bonuses. So there have been calls in the media for the government to do something about the big bonus payments that have been made to company CEOs despite falling profits. In cases where companies have failed to make a profit, the government has been asked to force companies to withhold bonus payments to top executives. So the options are either to restrict the bonuses or to do nothing. So for too long, the bonus culture among CEOs has been left to run out of control. Bonuses are supposed to be a reward for business success, but top banking executives are taking unearned bonuses while cutting staff numbers. We need a law that prevents companies from paying bonuses in years where they fail to turn a profit. The other option, on the other hand, is to do nothing. And it's easy to be critical of people earning large salaries and bonuses, but the fact is we live in a globalised world, and top bonuses are needed to attract top talent. And it is unnecessary interference by government in the corporate pay structure that will hurt our competitiveness. Our GDP is already in the toilet. Let's be honest. Let's not mess around. It's in the toilet. So, if we start curbing bankers' bonuses, all that it's going to do is drive the top talent away and hurt the GDP more. Unfortunately, we have to do nothing in this case. The global economy is in a recession, and I mean, look at it. The global economy has tanked, absolutely tanked. It's pretty bad. The budget credit rating is BBB. We need to fix this either through growing our GDP, lowering expenditure, or higher taxation. Polls report not looking good, only 14% of the vote at the moment. We're in the middle of the term at government. The current size of the Labour Party is 500,000 people. The Opposition Party has more than us. The Human Rights Society hates us, but we knew that anyway. That's fine. Cabinet is trustworthy. The experience is low, but that's fine. I've just reshuffled that. Looking at the security briefing, we can see it's still the Human Rights Society who hate us the most. Well, that's fine. The Battenberg Group starting to gain traction. This is the one that we need to watch. The Battenberg Group. They're the ones that could really, really hurt us. So, 31 political capital. What are we going to do with it? That's the big question. Gangs are still roaming our streets, but look at the income. Income and expenditure are massively out of proportion. But unfortunately, we need to spend more. We need to spend more on CCTV cameras to try and curb this. We need to spend more on these forces just had a boost. We really can't put any more there. Let's have a look at the policy ideas. See if we can't find anything. Law and order, gated communities, prisoner tagging, private prisons, police drones, unmanned aerial reconnaissance vehicles similar to remote control planes, which can be employed by the police force. The eye in the sky is useful to keep track of mobs and rioters. Allows subtle yet effective surveillance, and the police see it as a vital tool for modern crime fighting. But there are concerns as a step towards a further Big Brother surveillance society where everyone is tracked. As much as I hate to say it, I feel that it may be possibly the best of a bad bunch. We may need to invest quite heavily to the tune of around £6 billion, and that will drop organised crime, it will drop street gangs, violent crime down in general, and the only people it's going to hurt are Liberals. Admittedly, Liberals don't particularly like us, but then looking at 14% of the vote, nobody particularly likes us. So we have to make the hard decisions. That is the downside of being in power. Is there anything with only 6 political capital that we can do? We can certainly start a business startup campaign, or possibly a national business council, a trade council, Betty Farmers Young Entrepreneur Scheme. This looks good. This scheme is to help and support young people who are aiming to become businessmen in the future, give them opportunities to learn from veterans and detailed information about what to do and who to ask. This will increase happiness among capitalists as they see their future as being secured. Excellent. Money in. Max it out. It's just a shade under £400 million. Again, socialists don't like it. I don't entirely understand why, because it's helping young people who want to better themselves. And I'm personally quite socialist, and I would certainly not disagree with that policy. So next turn, as we start to move now towards an election, we really need to start worrying about what we're going to do. Credit rating has been downgraded again to just BB. Capital's down, GDP down. However, the GDP overall is going up, which is good. Crime also going down. News stations are buzzing with reports of a caped man who's been seen fighting crime in our cities. Already a number of high-profile arrests have been unofficially attributed to the mass killings. It's a sign of how bad things have become in our streets, that our citizens are turning to superheroes for help. However, it has reduced crime and violent crime. What they don't know is that it's not a superhero. It is in fact our unmanned drones that are bringing crime down, not a superhero. Economic forecast: the economy is in a recession. It's having a negative effect on our GDP. We know that. It's now just trying to get through that and work through and lay the foundation so that when the economy does start to turn, we're in a position to capitalise. Polls say we will get 15% of the votes, and obviously moving towards an election, we do need to worry about this. Martin Luther King Jr. provides our quote for this quarter: "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the colour of their skin, but by the content of their character." What a great man. Absolutely wonderful. So, 26 political capital. The people hate us. The capitalists hate us. The trade unionists hate us. It's 7 turns now until the election. 7 turns. Let's start looking at policies that will turn us around. Turn around also the feeling that people have towards us. However, economy has to be where we start. Organic space program. We could invest in a space program. We have technology grants. The government can provide state funding to encourage businesses to invest in new and exciting technologies. It will give us a competitive advantage and create jobs. It could be argued that it's an unnecessary distortion of the market. However, I will certainly not argue that one iota. I believe that it is good. I will be pushing that to the tune of £4 billion to push ahead with that. What can we do with socialists to try and bring them back on side? The state health service, state schools. You know what? Maybe worth investing in state schools in the future, because the more educated our people are, the better they will be as in the future. And again, hopefully that would have a knock-on effect on our GDP by producing better, more educated people. So what are we going to do? Let's have a look here. Stay with the economy for the moment. In business startup campaign, trade council. I need things that would be popular with voters at the same time as helping kickstart our economy. So trade council, it's always been a hassle to find trustworthy trading partners in foreign countries. With the establishment of the trade council, this will become easier now, as potential trade partners are listed here and make offers themselves. This will increase international trade and boost the economy. So let's support that. We don't need to support it much. I know we did a tune of just over 3.5 million, 350 million pounds per quarter, and that should hopefully bring around some increase in foreign trade and investment into the country. Looking at law and order, I'm not really sure that any of these are particularly great at the moment. I think we need to continue looking at our economy and try to build that up there. So Home fabrication grants. I'm not sure if that is quite what we're after, but a business startup campaign is almost certainly what we're after. Many people have brilliant ideas, yet only a few of them dare to take the steps necessary to set up their own little business around their idea. This campaign will help these people out. It informs them what they need to do, where they can go to get the permits they need, and it'll make a great deal of people make self-employed businesses and business startups. So that's great. Absolutely, let's go with it. The only people who will be unhappy is once again socialists, because they seem to be permanently in a state of unhappiness. So let's put about 300 million into this the business startup scheme, and let's get that moving. Let's also move on to the next turn and save the remaining political capital, because we may need it later on. So GDP is on the rise again. Unemployment is going down. This is great, fantastic. In the budget, international credit rating agencies rate our government as BB. It's a bad sign, but as you can see, the GDP has taken an upturn, and that's good. So that's healthy. The economy is in a recession. We knew that. Poll ratings are disappointing. We're looking at just 18% of the vote now, with only 6 turns left until we go to the polls. So the security experts are concerned about a potential threat from a shadowy organisation of well-funded various wealthy industrialists called the Badenberg Group. We knew we had to keep an eye on them, and they have indeed become a slight concern, not a major concern at the moment, although capitalist happiness is on the rise. So hopefully that will help us. Now let's take a look at these state schools that we were looking at before. The cost to raise is 18. It is quite expensive, but a lot can be done for this. If we increase the budget for state schools, it would decrease the poor, it would increase the socialist happiness, increase the education, decrease the poverty, decrease the unemployment. There's very few areas where this would not help, and we can certainly invest somewhere to the tune of maybe 45 billion. And again, I know that this is more than we have available to us in terms of the income and expenditure. There's a massive variance there. However, I truly believe that if we invest in the future, we will be far more prosperous in the long run, even though in the short term our debt is rising. We still need to do something about law and order. This is still not really helping us too much. Again, I'm just not sure if any of these are the way to go. To be honest, let's go back and look at our economy and see if there's anything else that we can bring in here. A National Business Council. This looks good. The establishment of a National Business Council gives a strong voice to business interests and ensures the needs of businesses, both big and small, are taken into account. The Council serves as a way to promote capitalism and enterprise and get across the message that the corporate world has much to offer. It creates employment and prosperity. So that seems like a pretty good idea. I think we want to implement that and support it to the tune of around £550 million. Again, raises the GDP, raises capitalism, and again, socialists hate us because there's nothing I can do to win them over. I'm just not sure if there are any other things that we can really do to try and... I mean, we could bring about an alcohol law, but the alcohol brings in so much in taxation that I don't want to really hit it too hard. So let's have a look at welfare, see if there's anything we can really win the people over with here. Food stamps, a system where the state will issue vouchers or stamps to those citizens on low or no income, and this ensures they're able to afford food. Unlike giving a straight cash benefit, food stamps can only be redeemed for uncooked food, preventing them from being used for unhealthy takeaway food. Supporters see food stamps as a valuable way to ensure that nobody goes hungry, no matter their income, and critics consider it both patronising and merely papering over the cracks caused by a free market failure and low wages. However, it will bring voters back on side, which is definitely what we want. So we will invest to the tune of billion. And this health, poor earnings, and poverty go down. It increases our standing with socialists and the poor. Farmers' income goes up. Farmers are happy. Equality is up. Realistically, everything is up on the food stamps. So let's put that in. And we are now a mere 6 turns away from the election. So we shall leave it here for today, and we will be back next time. We will push on, and hopefully we will raise the happiness. Otherwise, this will be a mere one-term party. Thank you again for watching. Very much appreciate your support, and I will see you next time.